Peace, 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 peace. This is your sister Rue. Mama Lisa Temple, beautiful upstate New York, Hudson Valley. It is a beautiful day. It is November the 6th, 2020, 2020, 2024. Can you believe we almost out the door on 2024? I can't even believe it. People running around here today with their faces all twisted up, other ones with these little smirks of joy. And all I can say is, all I can say is, this is your world. Anyway, I am coming to you today just to give a little update into studies, fall studies, winter studies. We are far on our way into our studies. We started in September, the end of September. As I said, today is November the 6th. We have come some way in our book, Breaking the Chains of Psychological Slavery. Also, our book on healing and retire your family karma. So, studies, how are they going? For some people, they are going fast. For others, they are going slow. As I said, we are very intentional about making sure that we have enough time to be able to allow people to move at their pace. However, we do have a schedule in order to be able to cover some of the things that will have us prepared for spring. And I really want to talk about the now and planning. And the reason why I want to do that is because, you hear everybody talk about living in the now, living in the now. You can't plan for tomorrow. My thing is this: the planning, the goal setting, that's to keep your eyes forward and not back. Yes, Sankofa, looking back, reaching back, looking at the lessons, all these things are great. But right now, where we are right now and where we want to be requires our attention to be here and set some goals for the future. Now, what those goals look like and what they include are just they're very specific to the individual. So we don't try to shape and mold that. What we do is we talk about the seasons and what can be done in those seasons and what's beneficial to do in those seasons. I.e., it is fall time. It is fall back time. It is time to slow down a little bit from the summer. It is time to get ready to settle in and prepare for a hibernation period, which would be the winter. Now, does this mean that we just going to ball up in a little cave and come back out when the sun comes out? Absolutely not. Now, is that preferred by some people? Absolutely. Especially if I got books and food, y'all already know is some good music. What? See you in the spring. But what it means is that during this time of hibernation and slowing down, we start to really sort out what it is and think about what we want to do when it is time to come out of hibernation. What I tell people is spring is a great thing. If you think about a spring and what a spring does, or a spring board, it gives you this boost, right? But only the effort that's put into the jump and the coiling of the spring and how tight it is and prepared it is, it lets you know how far it's going to propel it. Because even once it propels it, it has to have the momentum to keep going. It has to have the desire to keep going. It has to be in a direction to keep going. So when we tighten in the coil during the fall and the winter, it's to be able to project us further ahead and on the path that we've already set. See, a lot of times when we think about initiation and doing new things, we think about a brand new thing. First of all, there's nothing new under the sun. What you can do and what has been suggested by the elders and by history is that we refine what we already have. My mother used to say all the time, God will never give you nothing new if you don't appreciate what you already have. Now, I know many of us are not religious, and that's fine, but you know what? I'm about the moral of the story. And anybody that know, hashtag morals, What? Unmasking morals? We are we are talking about these things, and the moral of the story is, you have to appreciate what you have. You have to work with what you got. If you keep waiting, like, okay, it's gonna come then. No, this is the now. This, you see where you are now, and the planning and studying and the refining, all of that will definitely help towards the future. So for those people who, are talking about, well, oh, you can't live in the future, you got to live in the now. We are living in the now, but we are also being responsible and taking accountability for what it is and where it is we say we want to be. Nobody's going to come along and move you on the chessboard. They'll move you off. They don't have no problem with that. And it'll probably be a friend or family member too. They'll try to move you off. You know what I'm saying? But you do have those who overstand, understand that we are trying to move forward, sometimes together and sometimes separately. What I'll say is that if we sit down and we have a collective goal and we all do our part, there's nothing that can stop us. I wish the people that's walking around here all tight in the ass right now could figure that out, but that's neither here nor there. I'll leave that to the people who want to deal with it. But again, back to these studies. So Dr. Naeem Akbar, Breaking the Chains of Psychological Slavery. Where are we in that book? We've covered, the history of slavery, what it's done to the psyche, what it continues to do to the psyche, how, we give up one set of chains for another. It talks about leadership, which is very important right now. That's why I tried to cover it before all this rigmarole was taking place. um it talks about the types of leaders and what type of leader you're going to get if you have a leader who is shackled in the mind. Is but so far they can take you, because so far they can go themselves. So we have to break those chains so we're able to think for ourselves. Most people don't even know what that looks like. They don't even know what it looks like, where it begins, even how to begin to think for yourself, how to erase all of the seeds and conditioning and programming that's been put in. Now, I will say this, it is not going to happen overnight, y'all. I keep telling you it's not going to happen overnight. This is why we study some of the same books over and over again, because we are trying to get, this is a refinement process. For those of my listeners who are artists, or creatives, when you go in and you work on something, you refine it, you tweaking it, you, especially sculpture. I think that's a great medium to use when you want to talk about refinement. You can go in with a block of clay, and you just start doing this detailing and this refining, and you using all of these different tools to be able to get the detail that you want to be able to make your art come alive. And that's the same thing we're doing when we work on ourselves. We are making ourselves come alive. We are making the creator in us come alive. Too many of us have forgotten why we're here. Even if you know, that's a question I think we all should ask ourselves. Why are you here? Like right now, I'm sure we've all experienced it before. I'm sure we all asked ourselves the question before. And some of us may ask the question every day. Who knows? But I'm just asking, sit down and ask yourself, why did I come to this planet? Why did I come to this life? Why am I here? What am I doing? And my suggestion is, write down all the answers you get, because you'll get a couple of them. And maybe some of you will draw a blank. But either scenario offers an opportunity to go in and get deliberate, to get disciplined. That's the topic that we'll be discussing soon, most high willing, is discipline and how this work requires that. And I'm talking to myself first because we're talking about where we are in our studies right now. We are working on 3 books. 3 books. Some of us still work full time. Some of us work part time. Some of us have children. Some of us have grandchildren. Some of us have, illnesses we're dealing with, all these different things that require our attention and take away from the self development we are doing. I myself I'm slacking in one of my books. I'm slacking in one of my books that has exercises to go with it, and I haven't done them. And I thought about this the other day, and I said, I'm running around, I'm making sure everything else is in line, but I'm falling behind in my studies. And you know what nobody is doing? Giving a whole flying fig Newton, yo. Don't nobody care if I finish my studies or not. You know why? Because it ain't got nothing to do with them. As a humanitarian, no matter what I do, no matter what I do, I can't stop thinking about us. I can't stop thinking about us. When I walk through towns and I see them dilapidated, and I walk through these schools and I see the children can't read, when I go into the store and the child can't give me my change because they can't count, on top of all of the nonsense they do. And I'm not even on some generational, oh, those children need to go get a haircut, get your haircut, get a job. I'm not even talking about that, y'all. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about these kids, these children, these young folks, and some of the old ones too, have just given up. And because they've given up, they expect everybody else done gave up too. So they dragging sound down no matter where they go. They ain't trying to be productive. They ain't trying to do nothing to self-refine. They just like, this is what it is. This me. You just got to accept me for me. You don't want to be around me? Don't be around me. Well, you know what? I said it time and time again. For all you miserable people, go somewhere and live together, yo. Make each other miserable. Because for the rest of us, we still got work to do. And you in the way. So get down or lay down, yo. PSA. That's all. But discipline. Discipline is what I'm talking about. And like I said, I'm talking to myself first. So I had to sit down and I had to look, what is the priority? What has taken my mind and my focus off of my studies that I know are good for me? Is this a self-sabotage thing? Is this just a life has gotten busy thing that could still be an underlying issue of self-sabotage? Because see, sometimes when we see ourselves about to reach our goals, we'll make ourselves busy with empty work. So one of the things I decided today was I'm taking busy work off my table. If you don't want it and you don't care, neither do I. I put together programs and projects and communities and online, offline, and yeah, if you don't care, neither do I. But then there's that part of me that can't stop thinking about the us. So this is why I still do this right here. Because see, somebody needs this right here. Somebody needs this reminder right here. Somebody needs somebody to be sitting there when they ready Now that don't mean sitting still again and not moving. It just means somebody got to be on the ready for these people when they get ready. Because they will. They don't have no choice. Like I said, they're going to get down and they're going to lay down. And that has nothing to do with even, that's just the way the world is. Life on life's terms. Who do you think you are? Do you even know who you are? You trying to stand up here and assert yourself and be, this is why who are you? What are you? Where are you going? What do you do? Why are you here? Why do you exist? So again, this is your sister Rule, Mama Lisa Temple, beautiful upstate New York, Hudson Valley, telling you to get disciplined. Take a look at yourself. Man in the mirror style. We are still talking about unmasking morality. Where's our moral compass at? What guides us? What leads us? What kind of characteristics, values, principles? What do we have? Virtues? What do we hold true to? These are the questions I ask you to ask yourself. And you ain't got to get an answer to me. Give the answer to you. Gift yourself that answer. What chains are still holding your mind in slavery? Knowingly and unknowingly. Are you willing to examine? Are you willing to even admit that the conditioning and programming has you in a way where you can't even think for yourself? Where you trust other people with your well-being more than you trust yourself? What patterns are these? See, the books that we choose, Breaking and Chains of Psychological Slavery, Retire Your Family Karma, Healing Yourself and transmitting, you know what I'm saying, healing energy. All of these things we study because these are the things that help us to refine. I'm looking at what is still holding my mind. Where does this pattern come from? Was I taught this pattern? Was I taught this pattern consciously? Is this just a pattern that has happened in my family over and over again? Why haven't I healed? Why do I sit down and I suffer? Do you think about that without just having a pissy attitude about it? It's easy to be like, wah, wah, the world hates me. Yeah. All of us felt it at some point. But then what? And God forbid you say that to somebody, because then they run around and they use that as a defense mechanism. I know. I'm not the first person it happened to. I won't be the that. Listen, God damn it. While you being snarky, really hear what you saying. You're not the first person to go through it. So ask somebody who has. Get with some folks who have. Get with some folks who are. You do not have to suffer. Life is not suffering, yo. Regardless of what you've been told, regardless of what you've been programmed to think. Create the world you want to see. Create the person you want to be. Simple. But it takes discipline. It takes that no quit energy. It takes that in spite of energy. Child, you done got me fired up. What? Woo! This is Sister Real, Mama Lisa Temple, talking about this update on our studies. We will be in Clubhouse on Thursday, which is tomorrow, at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, talking about sex in the new era. It's part of a 4-part series that we'll be doing over the next couple of weeks, most high willing, talking about sex in the past, present, and future, and what it means in the terms and the scope of morality and our moral compass, because all of our studies are tied together. So if you are not a part of our club on Clubhouse, it's called The Spot. If you'd like to be invited, please shoot us a DM at Mawalisa Temple 1, or you can hit Brother Westbrooks at Nick Westbrooks, and we can get you an invitation out, most high willing, to come and join in that conversation. It will be recorded. So for those of you who want to just looky-loo and listen, it'll be there for you. It'll be there for you because you know what? We love you. We love you. Also, we have our planning session coming up for our music festival next year, as well as our gathering for the goddess and our gathering for the community. If you'd like to be a part of any of these committees that help to plan these events, again, please hit us in the DMs at Mawalisa Temple 1, or you can email us at mawalisatemple@gmail.com, and we can get you that information out, those dates, what we are seeking, and how you can be of service to yourself and your community. Remember, together, we can do a lot more than apart. As the saying goes, many hands make light work. This is Sister Rue. Until next time, peace and prosperity. Be well. And hey, smile a little bit.